Welcome to action from round 3 of the Rotax Max South African Karting Championships. We head down to KwaZulu-Natal and to the Idube Raceway for this penultimate round of action for this year's championship. One of the top teams in this year's championship is Squadra Corsa. Let's catch up with Elijah.
You've got a very diverse team. Some of the guys are top runners, some are mid-pack guys, other are newcomers. How do you deal with that, especially coming to which is nobody's really home circuit?
Well, how we deal with a diverse team at Squadra Corsa is that we take on everybody as an individual, and we try and work with the individual at their various different levels. But I think it all lies in the preparation. So we've been here before. It isn't our home circuit, so we've been here twice already to try and test and to expose the guys to the circuit and to the layout. But also, apart from coming to the circuit, we also as a team work at it at home. So we'll go through onboards of previous races. We will also go through previous data. We would make the kids visualize the circuit. So we go through different techniques to try and get them as much as prepared for the circuit as newcomers and as well as experienced members.
The weekend here is a very technical circuit. What is the trick to the circuit from your perspective, and how do you get that across to your drivers?
Trick here for this circuit, I guess it's confidence, because it can be quite of a challenging circuit when you look at it. It's a beautiful circuit. It's got undulations and cambered corners, so it can be quite intimidating, especially coming out for the first time. But I think once you understand, it's actually not that hard to actually apply your techniques that you would have learned somewhere else, say Cape Town, Idube, Cape Town and Swartkops. Idube then becomes a little bit of an in-between, I think. But as well, it's just more of the driver's preference, I guess, and as well as how ready they are, how confident they are, their state of mind, how well are they working with the mechanics and the team, and how that's all gelling together. I think that's what's the biggest thing that you'll find is when all of that works in sync, then the drivers go faster.
Unbelievable to see the top 12 within the same second. 2.6 seconds back. Down in 13th place is Enzo, but top of the list is Reese Kuzum with a big charge coming from Haystack, Khan, Levy and Minge. A couple of local boys in the mix at the front end for qualifying.
Go talk to me through qualifying.
Qualifying was good, and I had a pace to go to catch up to Idube, and I did, and I passed him, and there was a big accident, and that caused me big time. Then I can get more time to go forward, so I had more time.
What's your plan for tomorrow?
The plan is for tomorrow, don't look back and look forward, and just keep my head down, and just no prisoners.
Who's going to be the competition?
I think it's going to be Naidu, Murat, and Minge, and all of the other drivers.
And for tomorrow?
Well, it was great through qualifying. It was a lot of mix and max, but I ended second, so I'm very happy. Well, the plan is tomorrow to just maybe win the race, and just also say thank you to my team, Jaden, Seth, and my mechanics, Lyle and Leroy, and everyone else in the team. So yeah.
Who are the guys to watch out for tomorrow in the race?
Well, mainly I think it is Leviwe, because he's first, so I don't think it is gonna be hard for me to get first place, because I think I can do it. Okay, thank you.
This is a very technical circuit. Where is the best place to overtake?
Well, I like to overtake at the back straight and kangaroo corner.
And what do you like about this circuit?
I like this this circuit because all the up and down and the scenery of the hills.
So qualifying is done and dusted. Talk to me about how qualifying went.
It went good. A bit of spinning on the first lap, but I did great.
What makes this a tricky circuit?
Thunderdome is the trickiest part. You have to turn, and it's a very easy place to spin out.
Who are the guys that's going to make it difficult for you tomorrow?
My main competitor, Reese and Idube.
Is he going to be the one that you're going to watch out for?
Yeah.
And anybody else in the class that's going to make it tough race?
Maybe Idube and Idube.
Second row on the grid after qualifying, but we are at round 3 of the championship. It is always the most important round because if you have a bad round here, things can get away. So what is the plan for the weekend?
Well, I just want to get it in from the start in case there's any fights, but otherwise, I think I did a pretty good qualifying. It was very tough. I didn't know Travis and Devin was behind me, but it was fun qualifying. Pretty good for the times. It's very tight, but hopefully tomorrow I can come first.
What is the plan? How do you tackle a very technical circuit? And the guys at the front are not the homeboys. The out-of-town guys at the front. Naidu is way back, so what is your plan?
Well, just get away from the start. I just want to defend if they're behind me, but otherwise, I'm pretty excited for tomorrow. But if they're right here, I'll just defend until the end, and then hopefully I'll come first.
Championship. And we always say this is the make or break time of the season. Talk to me about your weekend expectations.
Right now I've made a new record in Micromax of 50.4, and I'm hoping I can get a pole for qualifying and win the race for this weekend. The troublemakers for me for this race is Murat, Reese, Riza and Divya Naidu, and kind of Eric, but yeah.
At the African Open, it was a brilliant race. This track is a different kettle of fish. What is the trick to do a good lap around this circuit?
Right now is to gas early and brake as late as possible, but accelerate very early. That's the quickest way, and you have to have a good line on the heel.
At last, we had round 3, your home circuit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what mindset do you go into this weekend?
Well, I go into quite a positive mindset. Well, after my qualifying today, it's like brought me down a little bit. But I qualified 8th, so I'll just try to keep a positive mindset. So, yeah.
How do you come back from 8th place on the grid? Very technical circuit, but the front guys can get away.
Yeah, well, just keep my head down, don't look back, and try and make a lot of moves. Yes.
Who are the guys to look out for, and how do you plan to get to the front?
Definitely Leviwe Sambutla, Reese Curzon, Uzair Khan, and Ethan Eric Haystack.
So talk to me about your weekend here at Idube. What are your expectations?
My expectations is to go quicker, get quicker times to get better, and to not get any accidents. Today's practice laps weren't that good. The track was slippery, didn't have that much grip. So I'm expecting tomorrow to have more grip.
Kicking straight off into heat number 1 now of 3. heading down into this very tricky hockey stick corner. And of course, they all got to get into those tram lines and get ready to go. Joining me in commentary booth will be Carl Lawrence. He's looking forward to this action, particularly in the Micromax, as there's a couple of contenders out there that are all fighting for a potential South African championship at the end, either of this round or in one round's time. A great start there from Reese Kuzen, and a good start from Sambudla as well. A couple of guys running wide. The 624 going a little bit off track there. Seth Gomez didn't quite get it right, but as they come through Thunderdome now, up the back straight, Carl, good start.
Yeah, Eric Haystack unfortunately getting a little bit of a nudge onto the curb, onto the outside there. Something that always happens at a turn one, but this blind rise right-hander as they head down towards Kangaroo, probably the hardest corner on the circuit. They actually get airborne as they go over the top here.
Fantastic to see them hit the brakes now as they come down into Kangaroo, and it's another good start as well coming out of Azir Khan, another local boy here, using that local track knowledge, but they're all trying to close down on Kuzen, who at this stage hangs on. Razor, a little bit off the pace there on the start, and a bit off the pace also in qualifying, so he's got some work to do now, sitting in the 4th spot.
Yeah, look, we're quick to move back up to second there behind Reese, past Uzir Khan over Pipeline 2. Good move, obviously got a good run up the hill, and he's having a go at the first place here of Reese Kuzen.
Nice move there, nearly made a stick, couldn't quite get up the inside though. Kuzen was late on the brakes into turn 1 up the hill. Now they head back down the hill through the flick-flack and into Thunderdome. Now in Thunderdome, these little micros will be flat out. There's not even 1 inch of lift through there to carry the corner speed all the way around. Now up the top of the hill, watch out just in the background, we're seeing a little bit of maneuver come through there from Eric Haystack and from Divya Naidu.
Yeah, Olivier there getting past Reese Kuzen for the lead, but passing just before Kangaroo, never a great idea because it opens you up for that pass as Reese Kuzen goes past Olivier into Kangaroo.
Oh, nicely done, and now up the hill, bit of a change up, yes indeed, Kuzen losing out, and Levy capitalising on that as he dives through and gets up to second place now. So Reza Levy now starting to push and looking to get a little bit of a gap between himself and what is that, down 5 karts behind him. 6 karts fighting for the lead, one with a small advantage at this stage as they come across the line and complete another lap.
Yeah, problem with this circuit, Idube, you might get 2 or 3 car lengths gap as Luviwe got there on Razor, but unfortunately 5 karts chasing down 1, that gap's going to close quickly.
Divya Naidu has now made his way up in the barrel, so there's a big fight amongst the competitors as well as amongst the chassis as they come up the hill again. Yeah, Divian saying, come on, let's work together here. They have to work together just to bridge that. It's a 2 kart lengths. Change up for the lead as they get up over Grandstand for the first time. Used to be Pipeline 1, now Grandstand. And Levy could be losing out here. Oh, right back in comes Sambudla. Sambudla dives back again. It's exactly what you said on the previous lap there, Carl. You cannot afford to make that mistake into Kangaroo. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting hard, as you can see there. Haystack at the back doing the same thing.
Yeah, I see Morat there on a big charge in Heat 1 after a very poor qualifying. I think he only got 1 or 2 laps in qualifying, so he's unable to get up the grid, but he's had pace all week, and the 2 Pragas in the background there trying to get up into the front with the rest of these cars.
Trying there, right there. There's no doubt about it as he squeezes through and gets up onto the back end of Khan. So Khan is going to lead the 2 Pragas up to the front, and we now got 8 karts fighting for the lead. That's absolutely brilliant stuff. It's exactly what we've seen all season long here in Micromax.
Yeah, very tight classes. Luviwe opening the flap on his radiator there, trying to cool the motor down, obviously up to optimum temperature now. Now he's trying to control it. But into what we call funnel corners, where it's always going to be busy and always going to be a pass, as we see Reese Kuzen having a look there on the inside of Luviwe.
There's a big look, but can't quite make it stick. See a bit of a change up possibly here for second and third. Yeah, there we go, diving through. Exactly what I expected. Perfectly done and made it stick. So Levy now just attempting to maintain the front end. But because they're fighting so hard, they're allowing Sambudla just a little bit of breathing room. And you can't do that when it's this tight.
Yeah, the 3 of them need to get together now, or the 2 of them there need to get together and push themselves onto the back of Luviwe. You break the slip here, you're going to get away, as Reese Kuzen thinks he's got the pace to get past and get onto the back of Luviwe.
Nicely done, and in the Cosmic looking for a chance now. Doesn't quite dive on the inside, but has a big look. Nearly made it stick, but had to try and take a slightly different line to get up the hill, and he's got through. So Levy now having to go on the attack again, and it's chopping and changing. Nice bit of maneuvering coming from the back end as well. Watch out for Eric Haystack. We saw him coming through rapidly, and all of a sudden he's now made his way up into what would almost be the top 5.
Yeah, Morat there on a big charge in 4th as well. He's caught up into the 2nd and 3rd place karts, and he's going to be hungry to get onto the front after a poor qualifying.
Got through on Naidu. Naidu going to try and run with him now. Just behind that early pace runner. You can see how much he's dropped back, unfortunately. So a little bit of issues there for Azir Khan. But Khan now trying to stay on the back end of Naidu. Guys opening up those radiators, trying to cool those engines down up the hill. Tucking behind the steering wheels, trying to get as much out of that kart in terms of aerodynamics as they can, as well as they fly over Grandstand. As you say, exactly that. They fly literally 2 or 3 inches off the ground as they lift up over the top. Coming back again now with about 4 to go. And the move is on from Mohammed Murat. He is looking for a chance now, possibly for a top 3.
Big overtaking opportunity here into funnel. The problem is these small carts struggle to get up the hill so badly. If you make a pass here and you don't quite get up the hill, you can lose 2-3 places quite easily.
Now, carrying corner speed down into that corner is very, very important. Oh, problem! Reza's got it out of shape and he's put it into the wall on the inside. That's a big problem. Hopefully he can get that car back on track, but it's going to lose him all the ground. In fact, he's going to drop right to the back of the field. Every single one of these Micromaxes have gone past him, so that's a vital mistake there from Levy, who's come into this round leading the championship.
Yeah, the two local boys fighting it out there. It's Naidu and Uzio Khan having a bit of a humdinger battle. A good move into corkscrew from Naidu to get his position back.
Oh, nicely done, and he makes it sick now through Thunderdome. Try and carry that corner speed. A little bit of assistance from the sideline, but Levy is way, way out of it now. There's not going to be enough time there for the Razor to close the gap down that he's lost here. In fact, he may even still lose another lap. You can see he's battling to get that cart and battling to get it the right way around, first of all. And they're going to come past him any second now. They're heading up towards him as they head up out of funnel and up towards pipeline.
Yeah, this circuit's so important to use the curves, but they've got such high curves. If you just go slightly over the edge, it tends to bottom the cart out and spin it around.
Managed to get it going again, but I think just in time. You can see there he goes, being caught. He has been caught and lapped. That is not what the championship leader wanted, that's for sure. That's a very, very big mistake there from the Razor. One of the first we've seen all season long from him.
Yeah, it'd be clever now just to let the front group go, get on the back of them and chase them for lap times, because they start the following heat on the best time that they did in the heat previous.
That's a good idea there. Hopefully he's got some in-car communication to tell him that. Probably not, but he'll probably know by this stage that that's an important thing to do. Get out there and get the lap times in despite that. And I think he actually put in a good lap time previously before this anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a hindrance for him, but he is going to lose points here in this first heat. So 1.5 to go as they come up to the top of the hill again, and this time out it is all about Sambudla. He's got big pressure on him and Kuzin is looking for a way past, but it's now whether or not he can find a way past. Kuzin drives on the inside into funnel, but it does compromise his drive up the hill, and you can see Sambudla going to come around his outside of pipeline. Yo, that takes some big ones.
Yeah, that's just not quite getting the block pass down into funnel, but he has a chance here into hockey stick. He can take a big dive down the inside, but unfortunately he's not close enough.
Now coming through now, that is perfectly done. Great drive coming out of Sambudla as they come across the line. That's it. Goes defensive. One more to go. Can he keep it all together? That's exactly what he needs to do. He's looking over his shoulder. The one problem he's going to have there is that if he looks over his shoulder at the wrong time, Kuzin could pounce.
Yeah, this is a big overtaking opportunity here up the hill. Slipstream is big as they push up this big hill towards the grandstand corner. Flat out right-hander, but it is blind. Kuzin having a look, but Luviwe is clever to block it. He'll be blocking again now as he goes into funnel.
And he does that, but Kuzin dives on his inside. Kuzin's, once again, be compromised up the hill, losing that corner speed. Just can't get the same amount of drive from the wider line that Sambudla's taken, so he's going to have to settle for second. In fact, look at that, he's lost 2 or 3 kart lengths as they came over pipeline. Now down into the final corner, into SMD and hockey stick, and this is a fantastic drive there from Sambudla. But it's chopping and changing for 3 and 4 there. I think it was Divan Knight who's just squeezed through. Yes, he has. Getting to the front of that second pack and into third place to finish up just ahead of Mohammed Murat. And then it was Eric Haystack who came through there for the top 5. Good first outing there for our Micromax competitors. And there you got confirmation of the results there. Luria Sambudla taking the win over Kuzin and Naidu. Murat comes through to beat out Haystack. And then behind them it was Khan Minge, Ken Swartz, Vion Bosov, Ethan Deacon Gomez, Reza Levy eventually down in 12th place. And unfortunately DNF there for Enzo.
It was good. Reese was giving me a tough time. He was really putting pressure on me, but I tried to forget about it. And then when he surprised me with that overtake at the last lap, he made a mistake, and up the hill I passed him and then won the race.
Because I took the inside and I just couldn't get up the hill. I didn't have much power to get up the hill. So then you went on the outside and I was trying to catch up. So
for the next race, what's your tactics going to be?
My tactic is just to put my head down, don't focus on the people behind me, and just put my head down and don't look back.
Good advice there coming from that young man. Let's see if he puts it into practice now in heat number 2. 12 laps of action coming your way. And once again, it is Kuzin who gets the drop down into turn 1. Reza Levy making up some ground. Now remember, he's got to make up huge amounts of ground. Let's keep an eye on that 6:45 card and see where he ends up. He has to at least end up in the top 3 to remain at the front end of this championship. Otherwise, that mistake in heat number 1 could be very costly in terms of points.
Yeah.
Right now, as they head up the hill, though, Carl, this is a good start here from both Kuzin and Sambudla, the usual contenders back at the front.
Yeah, the inside row on the grid, they got a very good start. Poor Uzar Khan got pushed right down to 5th place. But they're staying nice and tidy for the first lap, just trying to get it all settled in. But there's a move as they go up into pipeline 1.
And it's a perfect move. Sambudla hits the front. Kuzin tucks in behind him. And then you can see Uzir Khan, Naidu up there. Vian Borsov with a much better start this time as well. Good to see him up in that top pack. And the top pack of carts, remember, we had 8 carts at one stage in heat number 1 fighting for the lead.
Yeah, Vian obviously didn't capitalize in qualifying, but he had the pace to be in the front in heat 1, and that's brought him right up onto the front of the grid.
Oh, Murat with a great dive on the inside there. Finds a way past. Gets up into 3rd place. Gets that 627 right into the hunt at the front end of this field. As they come flying through Thunderdome, you can see just how tight it is amongst these carters. Behind them, keep an eye out because it's Uzir Khan there. Very easy to pick up. He's got that Ayrton Senna-esque replica helmet on. And I think he's just lost out there to Reza Levy. Yes, he has. Levy diving on the inside as they go up over grandstand.
Yeah, Olivier, we're coming back there on Rias Curzon as they head into funnel. Vian Borsov losing out there up the hill. He's lost drive and someone up on his inside as they head into pipeline.
Oh, what a move. That's a gutsy move on the inside of pipeline. Not easy to do. Defensive moving coming out of the Ayrton Senna man there. And you can see he's just having to just take some defensive lines because the pressure is on from behind and there are 4 carts waiting in the background. Ken Swartz is one of them as he's made his way up there, but also keep an eye out on Vian Borsov and the amount of chopping and changing he's doing.
Yeah, the Rays are looking very hungry there behind Vian, having trying to get past him, but Vian actually moving twice before the corner there to keep him behind him.
Defensive driving. Hopefully the COC didn't see it, otherwise you could be in a bit of trouble. You're allowed to make 1 move, you can't make 10. Now they come up over grandstand, and this is where they get a little bit of airtime. Look at that, those carts just lifting about an inch off the ground, but it's all 4 wheels that are off the ground at one stage, so that's where they lose a little bit of drive. Now they come down onto a hard-braking, it's a hairpin right-hander, and to get the drive up the hill, you've got to carry the corner speed through funnel corner.
Yeah,
and that's
Reese finally getting that move right into funnel. He got the block pass down on Luviwe and managed to still get enough drive up to stay ahead of him. So if he had practiced that in the first heat, he could have walked away with the win. So let's see if he can keep it together for the rest of the race.
That's the idea. Behind him is Murat, and they're starting to close in. Looks like a little bit of a move coming out of the second of the Praga carts there as well. Great dive on the inside, and looks like it's going to now be Praga's 3 and 4 on track.
Yeah, Eric Hasek impressed me massively in this event. He was always knocking on the door of the top 5, top 6, but now he's fully in it with the help of Extreme Racing and Leroy Polter.
No, they're definitely doing a good job there, and remember, they're not only running those guys, but a whole bunch of carters today. It's team battles as well as individual battles that happen out there, and of course, also depending on what kind of chassis that you've chosen as your steed for the day is going to help you out. Change up there, Praga up into 2nd. Yes, Murat just making it stick. Sambudla down to 3rd. Haystack now applying pressure, but he has got to find a way through there, and unfortunately, Bossov has squeezed him out.
Yeah, Bossov showing some signals there, saying, "Come, let's get on with it, let's get to the front, let's stop dicing here in 4th and 5th. Let's try and look to get into the top 3."
Trying to work together. It's not always an easy thing to do, particularly when in different teams. You're not quite sure if the guy wants to work with you or if it's just part of the strategy of the team to keep you away. Tivian Naidu waiting for a chance now to pounce. He's just behind them there in the barrel. So it's going to be a bit of a tight battle, and you can see, oh yeah, there's big pressure now on Haystack from Naidu. 2 by 2, they head up the hill. First 2 with a small gap, second 2, same gap, and then it's the 4th group on the road that all the action's happening with at this stage.
Took a quick look at Travis Minge there. Also another local ball doing quite well there, just at the back of this front group.
Yeah, nicely done. Now as they come over the top, it's Sambudla who's at the front this time. There's a move on the inside. Haystack retaking it from Naidu. Naidu got him down into funnel corner, but he returns the favour as they come up over pipeline. Now diving on the inside into hockey stick. Wow, great bit of driving there, and I think that was a big move coming from Ken Swartz. And Reza Levy now starting to feel the pressure. Levy getting attacked, yeah, big time, and dropping by the wayside. This is not the way that we've normally seen this season go for Reza Levy. He's been relatively untouched, but all of a sudden, things are turning around.
Yeah, difficult circle to get right this, and difficult circuit to get the setup and the engine setup right, especially if you're not used to a track with a lot of undulations. And Cape Town is definitely a circuit that's pretty flat.
Now, everywhere else we've been so far has been pretty flat too. So as now we get into probably one of the most picturesque circuits in the country as well. Never mind tricky and technical. It definitely is something that you would like to do at some point in your karting career. And a lot of the world karting drivers who've been out here love the fact that they get a chance to come and drive here. I saw that a few occasions, and also with the motorcycles too. It's great to see that they're putting a big effort in here from the club side.
Yeah, the new owners of the circuit doing a great job to keep this circuit running, and it's looking, as always, brilliant.
Good to see that effort is being put in, and of course that's why we come here with National Championship Karting, because of the amount of effort that gets put in. The amount of effort that's being put in on the black stuff, though, is starting to pay off here. A couple of drivers who are starting to open up a bit of a margin there, and the top two literally unmarked by anybody else, but they are fighting hard. So all of a sudden, the lead that they had is coming down slightly, and I think Zia Khan might be capitalizing on it. You can see a bit of a chop and change. Budler goes through, Kuzin back into second place, but how's that second place? Oh, off the circuit. That looked like that might be, I think that was Zia Khan who just got sent off the circuit. No, he managed to stay on. It wasn't. It was a 643 kart there who got wrong. Vion Borsov who got sent sideways. And now they're 4x4 down into hockey stick.
An absolute mess as they head into hockey stick. And there's a back mark involved there. That's Enzo Ruggiero as they head into the hockey stick. But Vian trying to go around the outside of funnel corner and unfortunately dropping a wheel off the curb and dropping way down the order.
How's that? 4x4 into turn one. And, Levy just able to keep Ken Schwartz out as he dived on the inside looking for a way past. But he's now got a battle on his hands of note. And it's actually slowed him down. He's in the wrong pack. He needs to be in the lead pack. He's sitting in the third pack. And that is just not doing his championship any good.
Yeah, Zia Khan made a strong drive to get back up to the front of the field after that iffy start and a lot of the chop and changing in the first few laps. He's sitting there now in fourth place behind Mohamed Murat, but he seems to be a couple of car lengths off. But all this fighting has just allowed Luviwe and Rhys Curzon to get away.
And they've worked together to stay away. You can see Curzon is sitting there and he's looked back on a few occasions, even though in his interview he said he didn't want to look back. But he's been looking back and ensuring that they've got enough place to play. And he'll be waiting possibly for that last lap maneuver.
And if you can get that block pass down, but he's having a look now early into turn one, that's just going to open him up around the back straight. But a great switch back from Luviwe and he takes it straight back into the corkscrew.
The Squadron boys have got him working hard. You can see just how well it's working as they go down into Thunderdome now. Watch that battle for third and fourth coming into play right now as they come through Thunderdome. So tight. Very, very close between the two of them as they came through there. But a big look coming through there from Zia Khan. Khan, I think, is the most dangerous of those two. And I think Murat's days might be numbered. Zia Khan looks like he wants through and he wants that third spot.
Yeah, Eric Hasek and Naidu also joining the party there as Murat, does he go defensive to keep Uza passing him down the inside, and they head up the hill to Pipeline. It'll be interesting to see if he got the drive.
And he certainly did. Held onto the drive. Here comes Naidu. Tivian Naidu and Haystack now closing in on Murat, and Murat has to try and go around the outside of hockey stick, but once again defensive line coming out of Khan as he hangs on to that inside line, and it becomes the middle line in the middle part of the circuit. And now as he comes across the line, brilliant, just put his kart in the right place and no overtaking into turn one.
Yeah, you can see that local track knowledge coming into play there. He knows exactly where to place his kart after making a move into a certain corner, and he knows exactly where the guys will be stronger than him, especially after he's made a move into the inside.
How's the gap that these two have got? Sambudla and Kuzin getting away now, and to the tune of nearly 4 seconds up the road ahead of anybody else. The third place battle is heating up, and look at that, it is 5x5. They go down into final corner. But we're concentrating on these two because we're getting into the closing stages now. And is Rhys Curzon going to be able to get one up on Limvio or Sambudla? Or is Sambudla going to go defensive? He goes defensive down into the SMD hockey stick. Oh, and coming back on the inside, looking for the cutback there, was Curzon. The flag is out, and to the line, Sambudla just hangs on. Wow, that's a bit of a margin that he didn't expect. And definitely 2 wins on the day is going to have him fired up for the final. Confirmation of the results there. Sambudla taking it from Kuzin. Zia Khan eventually won out the battle there with Naidu, Bossov and Levy. Ken Schwartz in 7th ahead of Mohamed Murat and Eric Haystack.
Yeah, this time the cut didn't feel as normal as before. Rhys was really giving me pressure when he was passing me. This time it really wasn't going well, but I still won. If I can win the next one, I won the day.
Yeah, because I was just trying to put my head down. I just looked back a lot of the times, and I was trying to catch up to Libre because he got a good start. And then we broke away from the pack, and then I was waiting until it's like the second last lap, and then I was trying to do my dicing and overtakes, and I couldn't, and then he started blocking, and then I just couldn't find my way past.
It was very tight on the first lap. I lost about 5 places, but then I made a comeback and I finished third.
Third and final heat, and it's the usual contenders at the front end of this field. Sambudla and Kuzan have been the class of the field so far, and into this final they're looking for another first and second. I think what we were looking for though is Kuzan to take the win as opposed to Sambudla. Sambudla definitely wants the 3 out of 3 though. Let's see if he's able to do that. As they come out of Thunderdome, good start there coming out of Mohammed Murat, good start out of Divya Naidu, who's moved up, and so has Khan. So Khan, Murat and Naidu all fighting hard. Look at that, right up there as well. Great start from Vian Bosov.
Yeah, Ken Swart just behind him as well, and just behind that is Riza Levy. So nice clean start from Micromax again as usual, as we see Murat dive up the inside to try and take a spot back from Riza Levy.
Levy's going to have to do it all now, because remember, if he finishes out of the top 5 here, he's going to lose the lead of the championship overall heading to the final round at Swartkops. So he's got a huge mountain to climb, and no pun intended when we get to the bottom of the hill here and start climbing up the hill towards turn 1. As they come across the line to complete lap number 1, it is Sambudla and Kuzan getting away. Divya Naidu hanging on to Khan, and right there is Bosov, and there's Levy. Levy down just inside the top 10. So this is not the way that Reza wanted to go this weekend.
Yeah, Ken Swart's falling off that top 3 chasing group, but if those 3 can just stay together, keep it clean, they can pull themselves right back onto the lead group.
That's exactly what they're trying to do now. You can see they're not fighting each other. They're trying to use each other's slipstream up the hills where it's required. Don't go defensive. Don't have to make the driver in front of you go defensive. Try and carry the speed that's required with all 3 carts, and there you go. That's exactly what you need to do. Close things down. Have they got good corner speed? Yes, they have, and it's now a 5-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, 2 here need to start being careful now. If they start playing a little bit too much too early, those 3 will be right on them and fighting. There's still another 2 car lengths there, so they're going to have to keep working together to get onto the back.
In fact, the way things are going now, it's a cart length that Sambudla's pulled out. So Kuzan might be looking over that shoulder like he told us not to do, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's looking back into the eyes of Divya Naidu, and Naidu is looking to close him down, bringing Khan and Borsov along for the ride. Second group goes through as they go the corkscrew, and it's led out at this stage by Ken Swart. Swart's at this stage with Haystack there too, having a bit of a late charge here to try and get to the front end. But unfortunately, that gap there for what is left of 15 laps is not going to be easy to break.
Yeah, with Levy, we're just getting ahead there. I saw Reese and changes line through Thunderdome and managed to pull the cart length back and get back into the slipstream on Levy as they head up the hill now into Pipeline.
They seem to lose a little bit of ground here using that slightly different line, the more attacking line, and that's why the 3 behind them are able to close down on them pretty rapidly. But then, of course, as soon as they start to open up, they get into the first part of the circuit, which, of course, is turn 1 into the corkscrew and Thunderdome. That's where they pull the margin again and maintain that small, well, it's about 2 cart lengths now. Dive on the inside for Kuzan, gets through, but the cutback comes again from Sambudla. He's going to have to try a different line there. Every time he's tried that one, Sambudla's come back at him.
Yeah, Sambudla using that cutback to brilliant effect. We've seen it all through first heat and all through the second heat, but I think Reese is getting a little bit antsy seeing the 3 of them chase them down.
I think he's worried about them coming, and they're coming rapidly. And as I said earlier on, they're not fighting each other yet. They've remained the same, trying to use each other's slipstream effect to close things down. Change up for the lead. Sambudla hits the front again. Kuzan had a big dive. Let's see if he's able to get the drive. No, he can't. Sambudla just gets so much better drive, and now Naidu is right there. And Reese Kuzan, if he looks over his shoulder, will realize that he's made a couple of mistakes in terms of line choice for those corners.
Yeah, Olivier made a bit of a mistake into funnel and it brought Reese right up into him. As he has to go now into grandstand. Again, Luviwe with the cutback. He gets that right every time. No issue about it.
Yeah, and he's not really worried about the attack that's coming from behind. Oh, is that Kuzan dropping down one? Yes. Naidu has dived through. Naidu up into second place. Kuzan down to third for the first time, I think, in the entire day's racing. We haven't seen him out of that top 2 at all. He's now down there looking back and concerned about Khan, who's right on his tail now as they come down into the SMD hockey stick.
Yeah, one person that I don't think Levi was going to get the cutback on is Naidu. He knows this track like the back of his hand. He's grown up racing here, so it'll be difficult to try and out-race a man who knows the circuit as well as he does.
Now, Khan looking for those inside lines and the tricky lines that, of course, the KwaZulu-Natal boys will know all about. Saw that on a few occasions coming to this track over the years. You get that little extra advantage. They've got them in Cape Town. They've got them at Swartkops as well. So local knowledge is definitely worthwhile. There you can see one of those local knowledge being shown to. I think that was the 643 card. Yes, indeed. Can you believe that? Khan just getting a gesticulation there. Coming out of Vian Bosov going, what was that all about? It's just the inside line that he knew about. That's all it is there, Vian.
Yeah, Reese Cousin getting past Naidu there into turn 1. Great move, and he managed to keep the cutback away, but he's so strong through Thunderdome, he managed to get a car length away from Naidu at the back, so he's not under threat for a pass as they head into grandstand.
And Sambudla now just opening up that gap exactly where he needs to. He just closes it down, makes sure that everybody can stay behind him, places the cart to perfection, and doesn't open up any doors to allow chances to get through. Naidu now is right there. So the 3 carts for the lead have pulled a little cart, it's probably about 2 or 3 cart lengths there ahead of Khan. Khan now trying to close it under braking as they come down into hockey stick.
Reese was so strong on the brakes into funnel there that he got right onto the back of Luviwe, and the race is on again for the lead with Curzon and Luviwe.
Make that Curzon, Luviwe, and now Khan and Naidu. Although as they come out of turn 1, there's another cart length opened up there. It's just so tricky. 2 by 2 they head down into Thunderdome. The top 6 just split almost evenly there. Then you've got one man all on his own. I think that's Ken Swartz who's just stuck in the middle there. And then the second group led out by Reza Levy, and Levy in fact not leading as they came up the back of the hill. It was Travis Mingay, and looks like Gomez up there too. 11 of 15 and some back markers to attend to. As they come flying through there on Enzo, he just holds his line. Good driving there from the youngster, allowing this big steam train to fly through, and fortunately doesn't affect them too much. They dive on the inside of him going through Thunderdome, so he just stayed right out the way, but it has lost them a little bit of ground. They were held up ever so slightly, and look at that. Just with that half a second being held up, it's another 4 or 5 cart lengths down to 3rd place.
Murat obviously put in a big charge midway into the race. He's moved his way right into the back of this Naidu and Khan battle, looking for a way past Khan as they head up into pipeline. Curzon just not able to get the bottom end drive up the top here to stay with Luviwe.
Nice move on the inside, and you can see, it's definitely on. Vion Bosov is feeling the pressure, wants to get away from this pack, maybe start closing things down, because they are running out of laps here rapidly. And he can see those top 2 getting away. So he's now applying the pressure there onto Khan onto Naidu, and pressure coming from Murat. Murat just squeezes him out and drops him down to the back of that second pack of carts.
Yeah, he's just losing 2 car lengths now on the front 2, Khan and Naidu. So he just not open for a move up to the top here, but who is open for a move is Reese Curzon on Luviwe.
Looking for a chance now. Left, right, as they come through onto the big right-hander. Airtime. Naidu right on Khan's tail. He'll probably have a go down here into funnel corner. There he goes, diving through. Doesn't capitalize his line though. Good line to have through there, and now goes defensive on the inside. Same thing that Sambudla's doing for the top 2. And Khan managed to keep Divya Naidu out. Yes, perfectly done. And Murat applying big pressure from behind. Little tap there, got to watch out for those nose cone infringements. Hopefully that's going to catch him out, and if it does, he could be in a bit of trouble. I think he might have tapped him a little bit too hard there, and Divya Naidu could be in trouble for a nose cone infringement.
Yeah, Murat finally getting past him now into turn 1. Khan getting a strong bit of pace towards the end of this race, getting away from this group, but I think Murat will pull him in quite easily.
As they come across the line now, you can see, well, not across the line, but to start that next lap, that's where they need to be concentrating on, up to the top of the hill. And it is Khan now who's opening up a bit of a margin as the 3 carts behind him go to fight. And that little fight has now slowed them up. It's allowing Khan just that little bit of breathing room. Has he got enough now to close down on the top 2 as they start the final lap?
Yeah, Reese needs to be clever now. He's quick, he knows he's strong through the top end stuff. So through Thunderdome, all flat out, all the way up until they hit the funnel again. They're flat out on the gas. And his cart's been a little bit strong on the top end the whole weekend. So block pass into funnel on Luviwe, get good drive up the hill and be defensive. He might take the win here.
Sambudla looking over his shoulder, left and right, just making sure that Curzon is behind him. It's FA versus Cosmic as they head down towards funnel. Who's going to have what it takes? Sambudla's got going for the racing line. I think Reese Curzon decided to go with him. Didn't want to capitalize his drive. Look at behind those. They start to sort things out there. Murat diving through, looking for a way to squeeze out and maybe get the 3rd place. Haystack's in there as well. And this is the battle for the lead as they come down to the final corner. Is it going to be Sambudla 3 out of 3? Yes, it is. He's placed his cart to perfection. 3rd place is going to be Murat, but look at Haystack diving through, and problems in the closing stages there. Across the line, it is Sambudla who takes the win ahead of Reese Curzon. Reese Curzon, though, will move into the final of this championship with a slight advantage over the man who came in it. That man there, Reza Levy. So the championship has opened up for the final. Sambudla taking 3 out of 3. Curzon 3 out of 3 for 2nd place. Murat eventually up in the 3rd place in the final, beating out Haystack and Reza Levy, who drops down to 2nd place now in the championship in the top 5.
Now I don't know. I think I might be 3rd or 2nd in the championship, but this is a wonderful day.
Well, our championship leader only came in something like 7th.
Yeah.
Your championship wonders.
But right now, I don't think I'm leading the championship. I know Reese is because he was 2nd, but the first guy who was leading the championship is no more. So I think Reese is now.
I couldn't get past. I was just letting I was pushing Liverpool to go forward, to leave to leave the pack to fight, and I tried my best. And like the second last lap, I was starting to overtake, like I said, and then just I couldn't get past him, and my car didn't go up the hill, and I wanted to win for my mom and dad, so then I can get my racing problems, but I still have one more chance. I'm winning the championship now.